Well, I have a fairly informal approach to playing guitar, teaching, concerts, just about everything. So I don't even know where to start, but if feel free to interrupt anytime and ask anything you want. So I'm not here to just. I'll give you a little bit of my history as we go through here in just a minute, but my passion in life is teaching, and I'm fortunate enough to have spent enough years working on the guitar that I can play a lot of kind of cool stuff on the guitar. But I really get the biggest charge and reward out of sitting with students and helping them get through problems, and sometimes they're ones they've been working on for years. Sometimes it's something that just cropped up yesterday, but this is, I feel it's like my calling in life, really. And so I should probably play something quick, but because I'm probably going to talk way too much. But so you're going to have to keep me on the clock here. There's a few things though. One thing is with this group this small, this is great because I don't think we need to necessarily think about, well, which of these three groups am I going to go with? Well, my plan now is to spend a few minutes with every one of you in whatever you're working on, and so I think we can swing that. But a little bit of history, and then what happened to our tuner up here? I started playing guitar as young. I was I think I was 9. I may have been 8. And I walked by a music store and saw a banjo in the window, and I said, hey, let's go. I want to learn how to play that. So we went in and talked to the people at the store, and I don't think we're going to need this either, are we? Maybe not even this. And ran into Bill Monday, who coincidentally was the guitar teacher at the store. And he said, in his great salesman approach, oh, you want to learn how to play the banjo? Learn the guitar first, then the banjo will be really easy. I'm really glad the banjo teacher wasn't there. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd be still trying to play. Anyway, so I started taking lessons, and fortunately, he had a great approach. It was learn how to read music, and learn how to play by reading the bass notes on the guitar, going through the whole Mel Bay method, and I just loved it. It was, and I took lessons from Bill for a couple of years, and then in a very traumatic moment in my life, I came into a lesson one time, and he said, Neil, you need to take lessons from my partner, Alan Beilharz. I was like 11 years old, and I was in tears. It's like, Bill, what did I do? And it took me many years to figure out what I had done, and it's like he'd run out of things to teach me. And so I still had a great relationship with him till he died about 15 or 20 years ago. So I took lessons from Alan Beilharz for a little while, and Bill taught me. We worked on some classical stuff, and also he introduced me the idea of what he would call a chord solo, which is taking a melody and playing it, stuff like that, and solo guitar, which is great because I didn't know yet that was going to be my direction in life, but that's what I got from Bill. And then from Al, I learned to play some finger-picking songs. There was one called... yeah, Bottle of Wine. There's this 11-year-old kid playing Bottle of Wine, And he also introduced me to some flamenco stuff. And I thought that was really cool too, these kind of percussive techniques and stuff. And now, it's funny because I haven't thought about flamenco stuff I even started this story, until I just got to that point in the story. But so that was kind of like my introduction to playing guitar. And it was about 5 years ago, and that was actually the last lesson I took, was with Al when I was about 11 or 12 years old. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I talked to him, and because I couldn't figure out why I quit taking lessons, and I get so we were on the phone, and I said, so Al, what happened? Why, what was the deal? Why did I stop? Or what, I want to know a little bit like what I was like as a student, because at that point, 2 years later, I started teaching guitar. So I've been teaching guitar since I was 14, and so as I got older, I thought, wow, and now having taught thousands of students, I was kind of really curious in what I might have been like as a student, because I always had the feeling that I was probably like quiet and shy and stuff like that. Most of the other students that I would get to know and hang out with were a few years older, so I was always like the baby on the block too. But anyway, Al let me know that he got drafted and went to Vietnam, and that's why I stopped taking lessons. It was like 1968. So, but it's just funny that that didn't dawn on me at the time. I was 12 years old, So, anyway, but they introduced me to the idea. Well, let me cut ahead to what I really like to do on the guitar, which is play instrumental versions of songs that you know. And the reason for that was I just was not comfortable singing, teenage boy singing is just, I did like what was just coming out then, James Taylor and Jim Croce and stuff like that, and I would sing their songs, but and so they might, somebody'd say, oh, I said, yeah, I play a whole bunch of Beatles tunes. I say, oh, play a Beatles tune, I might do this. That's a Beatles song? I said, yeah, you know which one? Any of you know which one yet? Yeah, you do, because you've heard me. You got it. I said, what, you couldn't hear that? That was When I'm 64? It might have been if I'd been, when I get older, losing my hair. Want to do a sing-along here right now? Anyway, so to cut way ahead, but I'm going to cut back in just a minute. To cut way ahead, that's when I figured, well, here's something. Here's a cool way to play When I'm 64. So that, yeah, not sure if this is going to be a concert or a lecture. It's going to be somewhere in between, and then it's going to be audience participation. I hope, actually, you might all get up here and play something. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Forgot to tell you, Bart said we might do open mic. So, anyway, so actually, this is a good time to cut to. One of the albums I have over there available for sale is all Beatles tunes. There's like 21 Beatles songs on there, and this is something I did. There it is, Anthony. And if any of you'd like to trade for what's behind the curtain, oh no.
They would not.
They would not. No, keep the Beatles album. So, that was a second album I made in about 1986 or 87. I put an album together of Christmas songs, and then followed that up with this album of Beatles tunes. And there are a lot of songs. There's like 21 songs in there. I put them together in medleys because if you play them instrumentally, you don't really need to play the whole song with as many verses and choruses as they do. So short versions are enough. So like even with When I'm 64, I run through it a second time, and there's just a little variation in the melody later when something happens. Oh, we do this. Then try to bring in a couple of voices. that second harmony thing in there, then a little harmony here. So anyway, I made a little variations on it and stuff, and then when it ended, went into their songs make such great finger picking songs, you know. Anyway, so that was one example of something. And this album, when I put this together, I had about 35 songs I was toying with, and I never really settled on an arrangement. Like every time I'd play them, they'd come out different. And so I went in like over 2 different weekends to my friend's recording studio, and just started playing. I'd play a song, and I think, oh, you know what? As this one ends, I'm going to have to take it. I mean, I'd sort of in my head arranged that, oh, this song I'll do a little segue into that one or whatever, but none of this was written down. So the album was 20% kind of improvised, and which only turned into a problem when it started selling really well in places like gift stores and bookstores and, you know, places where they'd be playing music in the background while you're looking at, you know, sacred stones and stuff like that. And so then I started getting requests from guitar players. Send me the music. I have to write this down. I have no problem writing things down. I'm pretty fluent in music reading and writing and stuff. But they wanted it written down exactly the way it was on the record, which meant I had to go listen to the damn record dozens of times and, you know, and just hear what I did in spots where I could have done one of 16 different things. So anyway, I finally got this book together of all the tunes that are in there, and still have a few floating copies around, but now I just send people PDFs if they want them. And a year or two later, let me back up now to some of the things I heard that made me want to head in this direction.